Okay, hi everyone. Looks like I need to stoop a little bit to get in here. I'm Alpha. I'm the garden to table manager for the Open Door. So I just wanted to start by giving you a little background for people who don't know. Garden to Table is a program of the Open Door Food Pantry. So the Open Door serves Dakota County, and Garden to Table helps support our healthy food policy. So in the summertime, or April through October, clients can apply and they get a free garden plot. They get free plants and seeds, access to tools and water, and they can grow food for their families or their households. And this is just a way we support their program, our healthy food policy, and so I'll just get started. So today we're going to do winter seed sowing. So the materials you would need are a milk jug. You don't need these right now. This is just a how-to video for later. A milk jug, or even easier, these clam shells that have holes in the bottom. This one had strawberries in it. You need some duct tape. If you're using milk jugs, you're going to need a sharp knife. And then something to poke holes in the bottom. I've used an ice picker before, and also a hot glue gun, a Sharpie, just so you can keep track of what you're growing, and then seeds. And since this is still pretty early in the season, I'm doing some cool weather stuff, so it'll be able to tolerate more of the fluctuations in temperature. So if that's, a lot of freeze thaw, that these seeds would be able to handle. So those like cold weather stuff, they would be broccoli, cauliflower, kale. I'm doing Brussels sprouts. You could do onions. I didn't have onion seeds today, but that's a popular one. So I will definitely be doing onions as soon as those seeds arrive. You could do celery. A lot of those things that need like a longer growing season. Brussels sprouts need such a long growing season. So that's a reason why we're gonna do Brussels sprouts. So get started. This is what we do. We take a milk jug. You can just throw away the top. You don't need that. And then you cut it. So this one's already cut, but I'm gonna show you how I did it. I left a hinge. So you cut all the way around and you leave a hinge. And then you poke holes in the bottom. So I did poke a few with this sharp knife, but just to make sure they're really going to be able to drain, I'm going to use a hot glue gun here just to make sure they're really nice and open. And so you can see it gets you a nice hole in the bottom. So I'm going to put, 5 or 6 holes in the bottom of this milk jug. Doesn't take very long with a hot glue gun. And then you don't have to worry about using a drill. People can use drills. I feel like it's overkill, but you certainly can use whatever you have. If you have a hot glue gun, use that. If you have a drill, use that. So now I'm going to put some holes in the sides. That's so if it gets waterlogged, water can drain out. So I'm just putting 1 hole on each side, which is probably more than I need to do, but that's what I'm doing. So now I have a milk jug with a hinge. So I cut everything besides this hinge. This is about 3 inches deep, and holes in the bottom. So I used a hot glue gun. You can use what you want to use. Use some moist soil. So this is what I have and I'm using today. I've seen them at the dollar store. So you can just get some seed starter and fill this with soil. And I keep it a little moist. So you can, just kind of make it damp before you put it in here.
Kahira Carter.
Okay. And then now you've got your soil in here, and I'm just going to sprinkle some Brussels sprout seeds. So these seeds we got as a donation from Minnesota Green, and I'm going to use those. Love Minnesota Green. They give us a lot of donation plants and seeds. And I'm just going to sprinkle a few in here. So I've got like, if you can see in here, just like a teeny bit. Maybe there's 15, 20 seeds here. Would be kind of a lot, but we can divide them up as they start to sprout. So I'm just going to sprinkle them in here and just pat them down. They don't need to be really covered hard unless they're a bigger seed. Bigger seeds you want to put in a little deeper, but smaller seeds you can just kind of dust over it. I am not one of those gardeners who needs really strict instructions, and I feel like plants are nature and they don't really need the strictest instructions of like, you know, measuring exactly how deep and all of that stuff. So I put the Brussels sprouts in here. So now in the inside, because of rain and stuff, I'm going to write Brussels sprouts. And maybe the date, just so I know how long it's taking. So today is the 2nd. I'm going to say February 2nd. And I'll do the same thing on the outside. Brussels sprouts. 2-2. That's today's date. Now, my soil is already damp. My seeds are in here. All I need to do now, sorry, I keep standing up, is duct tape the opening. So I'm just going to cut off a piece of tape and duct tape it so it's shut. It keeps the moisture in there, keeps the heat in there. Use a little more tape. Okay. New piece of tape. That one's not working. So just tape this shut and it's ready to go. All you do is you stick this out in the snow, preferably in a sunny area. It'll get heated up in here, and then once it's warm enough in here for a long enough time, things will start to sprout and grow. This little greenhouse will keep things warm enough. So by late May or June, you should have sprouts that you can put into the ground. And it's easy. That's all you need to do. I'll do another video like this in March with some warmer weather vegetables, but it's the same process. It's I'm going to cut this milk jug, poke some holes in it, put some moist soil in there, sprinkle my seeds, duct tape it shut, and set it in the snow, and that's it. You leave the top open so the snow gets in, the rain gets in, the weather gets in. That it stays warm enough here that the cold and the freeze and thaw cycle will help bust some of those seeds open, and then you'll have your vegetables ready in May. So that's all you need to do. Oh, if you were going to use these clamshells, so they're really nice. You've already got the drainage for you, so you do the exact same thing. You don't need to duct tape it shut. I don't do that anyway. Maybe some people do. I just close it, and that's a greenhouse. It's a little greenhouse. Grow your little veggies in there. I would do things in here that don't get very tall by May or June. I don't know that I would do tomatoes in here. I would maybe do onions or lettuces, things like that. So I'm going to unmute you guys, or you can unmute yourselves if you know how. And then I'll take some questions. Do you guys want me to stop the record? Just a thumbs up or something if you would prefer to not have this part recorded. Okay, so any questions? Nope.
I joined a minute late, Alpha. Where did you poke the holes in the milk carton?
Yep. So this one already has seeds in it now, but so I cut the hinge. You saw that part?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I saw it cut.
Okay. And then I just put a hole on each side, which is probably overkill. I think most people just put one, but I put multiple, and then I put maybe 6 holes in the bottom.
Okay.
And that's
For
just so it can drain.
Okay. And in the clamshell, do you have to poke any holes on the top, or how does water get in?
No. I didn't do it. I suppose that's a good idea. I've never put holes in the top because there kind of is some already. Like, I don't know if you can see it in this, but there's some like holes already, and they've got tons of drainage at the bottom. So I don't.
Today's my aunt's birthday, so I don't even know what I'm gonna get her.
I hear someone talking. Do you have a question? If you do, you can just say it because I can't see very well people's names from where I'm at. No more questions? Okay. So like I said, I'll do this again in March and we will do more warmer weather. So we'll do, and this is for Minnesota. So for people who live elsewhere, you could probably just Google what'll work in your area. But in March, we'll do potatoes and eggplants and tomatillos, more warmer weather.
This is just strawberry banana.
And we'll keep them closed longer too, unless they start hitting the top and then we open them up. Oh yeah, so I should have said that. So if things are growing in here and they start
because I think I'll go to Target and buy a salad, but if I don't eat, I put greens like spinach and my
someone is
powder to fill me up.
Anyway, I hope you guys can hear me even though someone is unmuted. But
it actually helped because when I
then you just
maybe you can mute
before I
everyone
started
again.
this movies, I was 161, of which I told myself that I never want to go above 160. So today it was 159. So I'm like, it's small, but it'll
be a fun video for people.
Yeah. Before I had my son, I was in the 130s. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so did everyone hear what I said about that? So I was just saying, if your vegetables start growing, let's say it's May, and your tomatoes are starting to hit the top, then you just take the duct tape off, and then you just got to keep your eye on it more often because it's not going to stay as moist and humid in here. So you're going to have to water it more often. And the roots, once they start taking up this, they'll dry out like every day. They might need to be watered. They might need to just go straight into the ground. And if it's not your zone's frost date yet, then you can just cut this all off and just put the top, so you don't need the bottom, and put that over your tomato plant to keep it hot enough in there. Does that make sense?
What
So are you saying
vegetables? Sorry.
Yeah. That's one of my questions too. What are winter vegetables and how soon can we do this? Put them in the snow?
You can do this now. And the vegetables I would do now, so cooler weather vegetables. So if you think about the things that can grow well earlier in the season, I wouldn't do peas in here. Peas like direct sowing into the ground. Like even if there's still ice on top of the snow, but you can move the snow, you can put peas in. But if you're gonna do cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, onions, celery, because it needs such a long growing season, you can do those now. I would wait till mid-March, so I'd wait another month before I would do tomatoes or eggplants, tomatillos, peppers. I would wait for those things until March, mid-March. That was a good question. Any
One
other
more-
questions?
I've got a question. Can we bring our milk jugs over to our plot over at whatever garden we're at? Because I don't think my apartment complex would love me putting a bunch of milk jugs outside.
Right. No, yes, you can, if you already know where your plot is, and you can certainly just put it right in your garden.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, when will we know where our plot is? Thank you, Alpha.
Yeah, so if you were a gardener last year, likely you have the same plot unless you requested a different one. If you're not sure, just email me. I work weekdays between 10 and 2, so have patience about when I get back to you. But yes, if you email me, I can let you know what plot you're at. If you're a new gardener or you asked to change plots, then just email me. Any other
Would
questions?
it be possible? Is it possible to grow strawberries?
Okay, so strawberries are a perennial, meaning they come back every year. And so most of our gardens have what we call a community plot. So everyone gets to share from the strawberry plot. And so most of our plots right now, they're all June bearing strawberries. So in June, you can go to the community plot. You can harvest all that you want. Weigh it, always weigh your produce, because that's how we keep this program going. Weigh your produce, write it down in the shed of your garden. And then yes, you can take them all home. And if you can't use them all, strawberries freeze very easy. You can just throw them in a freezer bag into your freezer and use them for smoothies or whatever you'd like later. Same with rhubarb. We're starting asparagus at some of our gardens. The things that come back every year are called perennials, and those things are community plots.
Okay, cool. Do all of the plots have strawberry?
Not all the plots, all the gardens. So if you are at, let's say, the Open Door Garden or Valley Natural Foods Garden, like whatever garden you're at, likely there's a plot that is strawberries, and that's for everyone at that garden to share. If your garden doesn't have strawberries yet, they will this year. I'm thinking the ones that don't right now is Emerald Hills, but they have raspberries, and Cedar Knolls. I believe everybody else has at least got one started.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Any other questions?
At what month can you put it in the ground? You know, you said there's still ice, but you can put the milk jug on top.
Okay, so I would say you can put the milk jugs outside today or whatever day you do it. I'm going to put this outside in the snow today. Like, I know you're in Philadelphia and you guys just got like a foot of snow or something. You can just put it out in the snow. That's what's amazing about this is it's so easy that all you have to do is put this out in the snow and forget about it until it gets warm out. I'd say April, if it starts getting into the 40s outside, you need to start peeking in here because it means it's about 60s in here. You start peeking in here just to make sure it stays moist until they're big enough to put in the ground. And that depends on the frost state of your state. And in Minnesota, I think it's Mother's Day weekend. So it's right around April 12th or something like that. Not that it hasn't snowed after that before. It could happen. That's why I would say cut the tops off of these jugs and put it on top if you're doing something like peppers or tomatoes to keep it warm in there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Anyone else?
Do we have to like bury it a certain depth into the snow?
Nope.
Just stick it right on top.
Yeah, you can put it anywhere. And like someone said that they live in an apartment, so they don't have space. You can go out to your garden and just stick it on your plot, and it'll be fine. Just once it starts getting into the 40s outside, it's warm enough in here that you want to start checking on it, especially if it hasn't been snowing or raining. You want to make sure it stays moist in here. And it's moist enough if you can see the condensation from the outside. If there's condensation in here, it's moist enough. You don't need to open it. But if there's no condensation, then you need to water it.
No, in Minnesota, I think it's still supposed to get down in the low teens
Yep, that's
this
fine.
week. Oh, cool. Okay.
If it gets below 0, it's fine. If it gets to be 30 below, these will be fine. Because they're not going to start sprouting until it's warm enough in here.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just
All right.
once in a while there is damage, let's just say, because Minnesota is Minnesota. So, let's say in May, your tomatoes are getting up and they're like 4 inches tall, and then it gets to be 20 degrees. That might damage them, that might kill them. But usually that doesn't happen. Usually in Minnesota, it doesn't get into the 20s in May.
Yeah.
What amount of water do you need to put in there to mix
Well,
the soil with?
Oh, just so it's moist. And even if it's too moist, it's okay because you've got all this drainage in here that it'll drain out or it'll freeze. And then it'll drain out when it's warm enough in here. So just moist, but if it's sopping wet, I don't think it'll hurt anything because when you put it outside, it'll freeze. And then when it gets warm enough, the water will just come out of the holes, the too much water.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to put holes on the side of the carton as well as on the bottom?
Well, yes. And most people just put one on one side. I put one on each side just because you never know. I don't know because I'm paranoid, but you don't need to. Most people put just like one hole here and then maybe 5, 6, 7 holes in the bottom.
Okay. All right, cool.
Any other questions?
So you said we could start like different kind of lettuce. What about like cabbage, like bok
Yep.
choy?
Yep, you can do cabbage. You could do bok choy. Bok choy doesn't like to get real cold though. I might wait for bok choy until March so that it's hopefully never in here gonna get, too cold. I'm gonna pull this cart closer to me so I can. I have to come around. I just want to change the view on this so I can see who I'm talking to. There we go. Yeah, so I would maybe wait to do bok choy a little bit later. And bok choy sprouts really quickly. So you could even just, last year I started mine indoors in mid-May or mid-April. And they were a decent size before I put them outside in May.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to come around again. Yeah, I don't have like a filming crew here, clearly. Yeah, so is there any other questions?
I have one more. So I heard that ginger was really easy to grow. Is that something that we should do in a bottle too? No.
Ginger, I have ginger growing at home. For ginger, what I would do is I would buy some organic ginger from the co-op, or maybe if they have it at Cub, I don't know if they do or not. You don't need very much. You want the one that looks really fresh and plump, not wrinkly and dark brown, but they have more yellowy and plump looking.
Yes.
And then you just can bury that in a pot. And you could start that now. It takes a little bit of time. Just keep it moist, keep it warm, and it'll start sprouting. It's kind of a pretty house plant. I've been using it. It's almost looks like miniature corn. But mine's been growing almost a year, and I will not harvest it yet because I don't think the root has grown enough for me to harvest. Now I've heard of something called white ginger that people order and grow, and I don't know, maybe that grows a little bit faster, but you don't want it to get cold because ginger's tropical. It grows, in India, in China, hot places. So I would not do this with the ginger.
Thing. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. Maybe next time I'll get an extension cord so I'm not running back and forth and I can actually stand up, not be leaning over the table. It's good to see some gardening faces. And I know that you're there, Valentine, even though I can't see you. Oh, there's Sarah. Oh, there you are. Also, if you had a plot last year, but you didn't apply this year, you should apply again because it's a different process now. Like now you fill out the form online and it automatically puts you into a database. And so if I haven't gotten your application yet, please just do that because then it'll save some re-entering time and stuff like that.
Okay.
All right, thanks all. And it was good to see you. And hopefully I'll see you again in March when we do this again.
Thanks, Alpa.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alpa.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.